cue the airplane. Hello, Patricia O'Connor here, and tonight I thought I would try to do something a little bit different. I'm going to show you how it is that I wire branches on a cork bark oak. More specifically, how do you wire a branch on a cork bark oak or another such tree when you don't have an opposing branch to tie it to, aka the two branch method. So let me just go out into the wild and fetch a suitable bonsai tree, and I'll be right back. The stars are absolutely beautiful tonight. I probably should have shown you the stars. They were absolutely beautiful. Yeah, that's a heavy one. Okay, so you can see my cork bark oak and wiring back the branches on it somewhat, and putting shape into them and getting them going the way I want. But it's got new shoots over it. Probably won't do anything with that just yet. Probably won't do anything with that just yet. But I also have other branches. Now, when I get done, I'll pull in tight and show you, I think you're at a good angle to see me do the work from here. And then when I'm done, I will bring the camera in closer and show you a little tighter what it is that I'm looking at. We're looking at this branch right here. It was too young and too little to take wire, I believe. Possibly this one if we have time. And this branch, which is coming right out of the trunk, as you can see. There's not anything really close to it, but it is time to put some motion into this and start taking it down if I don't want it to go straight up. Also, this is coming out of the top. I don't know, I could probably go that way with it, but I might decide, I'll make a decision on that later. So that's kind of what we're looking at. I'm going to be trying to put some wire and some motion into this, but I'm not going to have another branch to latch it to without going a quarter of a way around the tree or wrapping a wire around the trunk. So we're going to pull out some wire, we're going to look at it, we're going to make a decision as to whether we're going this way or whether or not we're going this way. And then based on that, we'll know whether we're going this way or we're going this way. And then based on that, we'll look and see what's close. I might not have a choice. You can see examples of where I've done it several different ways. When I wanted to put some motion into this branch, I knew it was fairly heavy and I wasn't going to be able to just point the wire back at the trunk and put some tension on it like that, because this was already a fairly thick, kind of a heavy branch when I started bending it. That meant that the wire needed to be anchored better so that it wouldn't twist. In that case, I ran the wire over the top of the tree and tied it in to this branch over here is where it's anchored. Now, that ended up being the best way to do that because this is also getting smaller at the top. Somewhere else, when it came time to wire this branch, I actually did kind of like a headband. I brought a wire around and twisted it, and then brought half of that around and wrapped it. So there's a full band. That's wasteful, I know. A whole eighth of a penny in wire, I suppose. And it does, it feels wasteful to have that much wire going into one bin, but it's not really anything in the scheme of things. And it's just what you have to do if you really want to put some motion into something, but you don't have another place to anchor it to. So those are two examples of things that I've done in the past on this one. My cypress trees, as I alluded to earlier, sometimes you can hold the wire at the base and get some wraps on it, and then take what's left and bend it back on itself and just kind of dig it into the trunk a little under tension, like you bend it back and then bend it back into itself and kind of make a tension spring. That does keep some tension on the wire, but not a lot. If the tree starts really working on that, you're going to have to do that quite a bit. So let's see what I've got here to work with. It might be a little light. I think that'll probably be good with this and this. Go with some of this again. I've got some of this left over from the other night on the black pine video that I was just doing. So yeah. Also, you might notice it's a little quieter in here. YouTube finally busted me. I was always such the rebel. YouTube finally busted me for playing other people's music in the background. It's not like I didn't know better. It's just we're kind of low key here. And I'm going to go off camera and get, we're kind of low key here. And I just thought I've been kind of pushing it. And I knew I'd been kind of pushing it. But they finally called me on it. So they didn't call it. It's not like there's anything bad. I'm not getting paid to do this anyway. They just did knock that off. Oh, okay, I will. So it's not like I have any strikes against me or anything. But the other way to look at that, if I were such a professional that I were getting paid for these, the video that I got busted on, they would that money would go to somebody else. So, and I wouldn't get to say who, so it's not like I would get to pick out somebody cool. Anyway, I don't need to be playing other people's music. That's just kind of like what I always do in my own home. I was raised in a house that there would always be a radio going in every room in the house. All right, my options look to me to be, I could put a small wrap around this horn, this feature, and then come off and put a wrap on that. I believe that's what I'm going to do. That would waste a little less wire than, say, going totally around the trunk. I don't think wrapping it around here and doing that is going to help me because I've already got a wrap going from there back to the other one. And I don't want to just start piling stuff on top of stuff, which is the other reason why I don't use this one, because this one's being the anchor for the other one that I already said I didn't want to use for that. So now the question is, am I going to go this way or am I going to go this way? So this branch is going to come down and do that. So I'm going to come around. I'm going to come around this way and then come out and not down. Okay. You know what you mean? Yeah, you do. Okay. So I think I'm going to do something like this. And we are going to put a little bit of a wrap around that so that it's secure enough to allow me to get away with this. And then turn that over a little, like adjusting a necktie. There. Okay, now bringing that down. Now I'm going to take and try to bring my wire down. Now here's the thing. I should come over the top of this wire. Right now I'm on the left side of this branch. And if I bring the wire up, I'm going to start off on the bottom. And if I start off on the bottom, whenever I try to get that wire tight, it's going to go up against the trunk here and at the bottom. So if the wire is here against the trunk here and against the bottom of the limb here, when I then bend that limb down, that will be like putting something here and then putting your arm down on it. It'll bust the shoulder out. If you get close enough to do that, the branch can grow tight and grow solid, and as it twists that wire, that can also pull the shoulder out. So the secret to that is to go over the top and not the bottom. And the way to get over the top, I believe, is to go this way and then come around here. I'm farther out from the branch, and I'm not going to make it pull in tight against the trunk going in that same direction. So whenever I pull that down, it won't be making that fulcrum. Sometimes it's really hard to work that out, but a lot of times, if you think about it beforehand, you can keep that from happening. And I think like I just kept that from happening right there. Oh, this wire's it's heavy, like I want it to be 3 or 4 days from now, but it's a little heavier than I want it to be while I'm doing this bend. That's the way it goes, Patricia. So, always using my other hand to support the branch. Quit. And then if you have to, keep your leaves out of it. Work at keeping your leaves out of it. If you end up wearing a leaf out, it probably wouldn't have made it anyway if you'd have just caught it underneath there, like this leaf is insisting. But I got it. I got it going my way. So yeah, that took me a minute. Now, where to grab it without hurting anything right there, Patricia, and then bring that on around. And then somewhere in here is probably when I should maybe there. Okay, so for now, notice that my limb stops here. I'm going to cut this off here. And the reason I'm cutting that off there is because you can see I've done that over here. You see how much longer that is? Well, that limb was not that long when I left this wire that long. And by the way, I don't think that limb is ready to accept this wire yet. So I could have cut it there. But a week from now, when that still hasn't completely slowed down for winter yet, my oak. So a week from now, when this is over here and it's gotten about 1/3 thicker, I will have this in reserve to finish that wrap without having to loop another one underneath. Meanwhile, probably if I had children or small animals or something, I might worry about that. But Frida's a little too short to poke her eye out on that. Okay, so that's what's got us there. This wire kind of comes out a little and joins this trunk. But I'll probably almost an inch out. So that thing that I was saying that I was worried about it doing, we're not going to be doing that. I'll put some motion in it that way. And then what I like to do with these is whatever, like I was bending around my thumb and my middle finger. So now I'm leaving my thumb and middle finger there, and I'm coming back around with my other thumb, and I'm bending it around that same middle finger. So I got motion going one way and then around my finger the other way. It's just a good way to get everything organically moving. If it's two in unison when you look at it, you can still spread it out a little later. Now, as I did over here, this tip is a little too fragile for me to do that last. If I let this grow on out here, I can do this part in a week or two. Now you see how far I'm taking that? There we go. That's got that guy. So, that was the one that we really didn't have a whole lot of really cool options with. I don't like the part where this limb, it's got action in it that I love right up to here. This bend is a little extreme. And I don't like the part where it's pointed right at that. It won't be going there long. Just as soon as I can do something else with it, it'll be coming more like that. So now this is an actual why, Pat? Why? Because it won't be difficult like the other one was. I'll be able to do this one quite a bit easier than the other. She jinxes herself by saying, "Get out of there." All right, I'm going to put a wrap. Put a wrap or two, and then go around to the other side and put a wrap or two. Okay, Patricia, I'm going to loosen this. I've got a branch that I probably should have cut out, but I didn't want to give up on it. It could still, I've got a branch right here. You know what? No, never mind. I started to cut it, but there's a reason why I don't cut it. It's already the anchor. It's already part of an anchor for something else. And if I want to look at what that something else is before I go arbitrarily cutting off something that isn't helping me right now, the wire that's attached to it might be helping me, and I haven't really seen what it is, so I don't want to go cutting that off. Great moments in YouTube video history. So it was a beautiful, beautiful Sunday today in Alameda. I don't like whatever we're in now. Is it daylight savings time, or are we off in daylight savings time? Whatever this is right now, I don't like it. I would wish that we would just go back to the way it was yesterday and stay on that forever. Somebody goes, well, what about the farmers? Well, I don't know. If they already get up before the sun comes up, I don't know about the formers. I know that you gotta want to be a former to be a former. When I worked in the film business, I was just as likely to have to go to work at 3 o'clock in the afternoon as I was to go to work at 7 in the morning. It is what it is. But between you and me, I think daylight savings time is for the birds, and I'm lucky enough right now. I'm calling my own hours a little bit. The rest of you guys who are still doing your 40-hour-a-week thing, this daylight savings time stuff just really jerks you around, and I'm sorry you're having to go through it. I can sleep. I mean, I still wake up too early on daylight savings time, or not daylight savings time. It's called 62 years old. You know how old people are irritatingly up early? Like, how don't they know? Anyway, Frida loves her sleep. That looks fine. Okay, so I could probably do that too, but I want to do not that. I probably want to cut that. I might want to do this when I do that. I don't know if you can even see what I'm talking about doing. Okay, Tripisha. This is going to be the part where I pluck the camera off and then I pull in tight and show you what I've just done. That could be a little better. No, I think that'll be okay. All right, so let me come and get this down from here. Oh yeah, the part of Patricia will be painted like Patricia's finger. Okay, so there we've got our motion into this guy, goes weaving its way down. Now, when it came time to wire this one, focus. When it came time to wire this one, our wire is right here. And you can see that's not a limb, it's just kind of like a feature, right? It's going to be a home for all of those limbs, but right now it's just sporting, and I banded it around and I did a twist in it. I don't know if you can see it. I did that twist. That gave me enough of an anchor to do, get your hand out of the way, to do that solo bend. And I don't know how much detail you can see in that. I'm just looking at a viewfinder, but what you should be able to tell was that was a sprig that was sticking straight up, and now it seems to be going slightly to the right, slightly to the left, and you're looking at the bottom side of all those leaves, which tells you it's pointed down. It doesn't like being pointed down, but that's the way it goes. It's just going to do that till it straightens out in a minute. And so I will probably do some more of this in a week or two, and then we'll call it quits, because everything's kind of like pulling into port, so to speak. What I mean by that is I have all of these shoots to work with, and some of them I've already trimmed, some of them I've already added wire to, but when I did that, a few of them were too small to add wire to, and as I continue to, as we continue to push towards fall, more of those things will pull up to whatever length they're going to get and harden off, and then I can add wire to them. So yes, I think that could go a little closer in here. That was the one. This is the one. You can see where I got that bend and that bend down, and all it did at the time was pull back on itself. That's all that had going on it. So if I really wanted this to bend down more here, I wouldn't be able to get away with just this little come in and be a spring. I would need to do what I've done there and do a wrap on, and do a real wrap on the whole thing. So, and that whole wrap on the whole thing was so that we could do that to that branch. All right, so that's how you, that's, you know, I mean, there's a million ways. If somebody else wants to show me a link or a tutorial of another way, I would love to learn that as well. But I don't think I invented this. I got these from somewhere, and that's just what I've had to do in the couple of years that I've had this Cork Bark Oak. And we are just about done with it for the year. It will stay green all year, but it will slow down and stop doing stuff. And I'm really thrilled with the way this is looking. I'm really thrilled with the way this is looking right now. But yeah. So, like and subscribe, and thank you so much for watching. And Frida, I don't think Frida made an appearance in this one. She was kind of hanging out there in that spot on the couch. It's Sunday. She had a pretty busy day earlier, but she's taking it easy now. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and that's me playing with my Cork Bark Oak. All those boxes in the back of the set. Oh my God. Anyway, Thank you so much for watching.